UN chief announces the creation of a constitutional committee on Syria. Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed today that Egypt seeks to apply the 100 Million Healthy Lives Initiative to the African countries, pointing out that the country succeeded to check more than 60 million citizens within the same initiative. In his speech before the Comprehensive Healthcare Coverage Summit in New York, which is held on the sidelines of the 74th round of the UN General Assembly, President al-Sisi said that Egypt has put the citizens' health on top of its priorities. al-Sisi added that Egypt had already started to apply the comprehensive health care insurance. The president also called on the development partners to work for achieving a decent life for all Egyptians. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi delivers today Egypt's speech to the International Climate Summit, which convenes at the United Nations headquarters in New York as part of the 74th session of the UN General Assembly. In his speech, the president is expected to review the stance of Egypt, Africa and developing countries on climate change as one of the major threats affecting the world and Africa in particular. It is worth mentioning that while Africa has a limited share in the world's gas emissions causing the greenhouse effect, it is one of the main areas in the world affected by the phenomenon. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met today the Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel on the sidelines of his participation in the United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said that during the meeting, President al-Sisi congratulated the Belgian Premier for being elected as European Council President following Donald Tusk. The President stressed Egypt's keenness to foster relations with Belgium in various domains and asserted that Egypt seeks to boost joint cooperation on the economic, trade, cultural and tourism levels. For his part, Michel praised distinguished ties between the two countries and pointed out to the special status of Egypt in the European Union. Also on the sidelines of the 74th UNGA meeting, President al-Sisi held a meeting with Italy's Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte. The meeting tackled means of enhancing Egyptian-Italian ties in different domains. The meeting also focused on a number of international files of common interest. The President will give a speech on Egypt's vision before the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres announced today the creation of a committee on Syria that will include government and opposition representatives to draft a post-war constitution. Guterres said his envoy to the war-torn country, Geir Pedersen, would bring the committee together in the coming weeks. The committee is to include 150 members, a third picked by the regime, another by the opposition, and the remaining third by the United Nations. Monday's announcement came after Guterres said last week that an agreement had been reached concerning the composition of the committee. The UN-backed push to form a constitutional committee has been bogged down by disagreements with Syria's President Bashar al-Assad's government over the makeup of the body.